All right, it is just about 4 o'clock Chicago time, Central Time. This is Jim Cagnina with Infinity Futures. I'd like to welcome everybody for being here today. Our main event, of course, is David Katz, tradingfibs.com, and David's going to do a training session. He is an official certified live trading challenge coach. And for those of you who are new to the Live Trading Challenge, this is an event we have every other month. And the idea is to have a 5-day trading competition, challenge, whatever you want to call it. It is in live simulated mode, so you don't have to fund any money. And we try to restrict the amount of leverage you have in the amount of stuff you could do to kind of mimic real life. A lot of times when folks trade on a simulator or a demo account or a practice account or whatever you want to call it, it's really easy to go over and out of bounds with respect to what you would ordinarily do in a real account. So it's a realistic challenge. It's a lot of fun. It's free, and we post live results on the website as we go throughout the challenge. So what we've decided over the couple of years we've been doing this, we've had a lot of response, a lot of participation, and folks kind of wanted to learn how, hey, maybe I can get an advantage in winning one of these things or getting my name up on the leaderboard or something cool like that. And so our very first certified coach, David Katz, is here. He's going to do a 3-day kind of presentation. The outline, I think, is available online for everybody if you don't know what's up and coming. But today is session 1, and we really appreciate David for doing this. Let me just show you this next event. It's June 14th. Registration closes June 9th. You could register right here on the livetradingchallenge.com website. And again, it's a 5-day trading contest. And whoever makes the most money wins, net of commissions. And we apply a $5 round turn phantom commission, if you will. Remember, this isn't a funded account. This is a simulated account. But we feel the Infinity AT trading platform gives everybody a real good, realistic feel for what it's like to trade on a direct access level 2 platform. So you can see the question box right there. Feel free to type in questions as you go. I'm assuming everybody could hear me right now and I don't have to do the presentation all over again. If you could hear me, just type in a yes here. And I'm going a little slow because people are coming in by the handfulls right now. All right, excellent. I do want to remind everybody trading futures, options, and futures involves substantial risk of loss, not suitable for all investors and traders. Oftentimes in futures trading, you have a high combination of leverage and volatility. And although that could be an equation for opportunity, it's also an equation for risk. So be careful and only fund your futures trading account with risk capital. My personal definition, money I could afford to lose doesn't change my lifestyle or overly anger Mrs. Cagnina. Now I say that third part is kind of tongue-in-cheek, but not really, because everybody has a lot of stresses in life, and that can certainly affect your performance, your mental attitude, and your well-being going into this endeavor. So be careful. Feel free to reach out to your Infinity Futures customer service rep. Everybody has one here, whether you like it or not, whether you're a customer of us or not, or whether you're a customer of David's or not. Feel free to reach out and use that free resource as you go through the discovery process of whether trading futures is right for you. My name is Jim Cagnina. I'll post some of my contact information. I'd be happy to speak with anybody about anything, arguably the one thing I'm good at. So feel free to reach out to me as well, especially if you don't know who your customer service rep is here. Everybody here has extensive experience in this business, and hopefully they could provide some guidance and direction as well. I recognize a lot of names here. I know a lot of people are customers here. Some are not. Some are brand new I haven't seen before. Before I pass it over to David, I do want to remind everybody that past performance is not indicative of future results. Another disclaimer that's very important, especially when we're talking about educators, whether you're listening to me or David or anybody. Keep that in mind as you go. I'm also doing a follow-up June 5th training session as well. Everybody's welcome, free to come if you want. All right, any questions on the live trading challenge or any of that stuff? I'm going to pass it over to David. If you want to follow along live with the simulator or demo account, click on our homepage, try our trading platform, fill this out, and you'll get an email instantly relatively instantly with the username and password and the download link, and you could follow along. Our YouTube channel has a whole bunch of cool videos. I don't know if they're cool or not. I think they're cool on how to do stuff with the platform and analysis techniques and stuff like that. And we hope to have this events here posted up here when we're done on Thursday or Friday at the latest. All right, let's get the ball. I don't have any questions for me. I'm going to pass the ball over to David here. Let me get his mic unmuted. He might have muted his own mic. Bear with me, guys.
I'm here.
All right, you are here. David, hey, I'm going to switch over the screen to you. And in the meantime, yeah, I'm going to make you an organizer also so you can see all the questions and all that stuff. While this is going on, I do want to thank you for taking the time to do this. David was in our office visiting a couple weeks ago. It was good to see him. He headed back to Oregon, where it's arguably a little prettier, a little less crowded than Chicago, but Chicago's pretty too. But thank you for doing this for us. I really appreciate it. I know it's 3 days out of your life, a lot of effort's going into this and a lot of time, and we're not paying you anything. So there you go.
All right, let's make sure everybody you could see the you could see me, you could see the clock, you could see the screen, right?
You look good, sound good.
All right, awesome. All right, here we go. Well,
oh, my bad. Go ahead. Do that one more time. I hit the wrong button.
Oh, no problem. All right, greetings, everybody. Thanks for being here. Jim, you took half of what I wanted to say about the live trading challenge, but I'll get back to that. And yeah, it was great visiting in Chicago, seeing where the Grand Central Station is there, and able to connect it all, and so glad to be part of this. Anyway, greetings everybody. Thanks for showing up today. I know this is a tricky time, especially after the market. Is this the best time to do the webinar? But hey, you guys are here, and glad you're here to be with us. And if again, this will be recorded, so if there's any part of this session that you guys miss, or you didn't hear, or you didn't get that link or chart or something, go ahead, take a look at it later. It will be hosted by the Infinity Futures YouTube channel. Anyway, again, this is a great opportunity. We're going to do a 3-day part series. Again, I can't help but reiterate, Jim is going to do a 3-part as well next week. I was hoping to follow up on him, but I got a lot of basics for the trading simulation that's coming up in June, and hopefully that you guys will participate, especially existing customers. But in this 3-part series, I want to share with you a lot of what I have gained as a trading room mentor and educator before you embark perhaps on this live trading challenge, or perhaps you're already a trader and you're just here to pick up a couple things. Guys, since converting from another platform that will left go unnamed over to Sierra Charts, it's been an incredible journey over the last several years in the amount of just simply chart creativity and flexibility that is available to us as traders. And again, there are a lot of great trading platforms, but I gotta say that while many of us have a variety of choices with those trading platforms, yeah, it's my humble opinion that Sierra Charts constantly updates, upgrades, and far outshines many of those trading platforms when it comes to the futures. It's my hope that here in this limited time, out of these 3 days, which we're going to do 3 different types of subjects, but all together here to create one simple strategy and a trading plan, is that hopefully you'll take that over into real live trading. If this is you're starting out, you're new, I'm speaking again to the average trader out there. I know there's a lot of seasoned traders, but if this is your first time, and like me, many not meant too long ago, but you know, there was a time and a place where you had all these questions, the nuts and bolts. How do I get started? And sometimes I feel like, yeah, because I've learned a lot on Sierra Charts, I end up helping with a lot of the where is this, where can I find this? I end up sometimes having to turn to others. So anyway, that's the idea, that we can create a trading plan here in the next couple days, and that if you don't have one, this is something that you might instill in your trading plan, and that's the case that I'm going to make today. So hopefully this will bring you success and maybe winning the simulation, and then hopefully down the road in the goal of trading, for you to go live with it, hopefully with the people here at Infinity, a great team to support you there. But again, note I say probability. I don't say 100% in high success. Again, trading carries that inherent risk with it. Many of you are here today with a range, like I said, of trading backgrounds. It's not my position to completely change your strategy, but to offer you perhaps an insight that perhaps you may find valuable to add to your own platform. And if I've achieved that, hey guys, I've accomplished that goal. In my early years of trading, it was all about, for me, one thing, and it was about that term called the Holy Grail. And if you've already seen the subjects for today, you'll know that I'm going to speak about that Holy Grail. What is that Holy Grail in trading? Chasing after all those possible strategies and indicators that are out there. So perhaps some of you, it sounds familiar. And so once I found that strategy that works for me, obviously I've modified it along the way, especially if you follow me on social media or my Twitter feeds. You've seen over the course of half a year, once in a while I add a moving average or something like that. I've become complacent for the most part, but I realized that was only really, the strategy was 10% of my trade. And the rest of it, that other 90% was trade management, and it was the psychology of trading. And I don't think there's another strategy book that I need to pick up, but I'm always welcome to reading a new psychology book out there. I think there's a lot of great stuff that's written on it. I think if that's where your focus is at this point, that's where you put it. Anyway, so I would confess that a majority of the days it takes time for me to wait for a setup, and perhaps many of you think trading has to be in and out all day, but I'm content that if the setup's there, that's all you got to wait for. So what if I could just have that mindset that looks for the highest probability run in price action, and once I was in a trade, I would be able to manage it with confidence that price action would indeed move in that direction, whether it's up or down, and still protect my initial entry. And so if it doesn't, and there are days where we all have to take our licks to make some ticks, and as the market simply is bigger than we are. So I know Jim already went over the disclaimer, so let's just go ahead and just get that through the webinar 2 here. So before we begin, we need to reassure ourselves that, and reassuring you that informing that trading is a risky business. Most important, today's performance is, and he's, as Jim said, never indicative of yesterday's performance. Of what happened yesterday will happen tomorrow. All right, and the official word from the Commodities Exchange that we cover in all our trading webinars, that this one today included, that trading is a very serious business and almost the hardest thing that you'll ever do. Even if you had a 50-50 chance that will go in your direction, is a business of high and especially low emotions. And in my own words, I know you know this, but in case you didn't, I'm informing you and covering myself as well, that I don't blame me for losing all your money. If you take this information today and you try it out live tomorrow, I don't recommend it. If anything I share with you today doesn't go your way. So this is for educational purposes only. You can and will lose money in this market. The goal is to bounce back and with discipline and not to revenge trade. The truth is, trading in the stock market is tough. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. And okay, now that you got all that, I think we can move forward and hopefully learn something new today. As Jim said, there's the updated picture, as you can see. That was living in Arizona, but now I'm currently in the Pacific Northwest, born and raised in the windy city of Chicago, home of the Infinity Futures, but I've resided in the great cities of New York, San Francisco. Love the outdoors, so if I'm not in front of my charts, it's all about exploring new places and playing outdoors. Again, what brings me to this this point in my trading career, and especially to represent Infinity Futures in this way, a bit of my past, which brought me to who I am today as a day trader with over 17 years in the field of education. Once I had a grasp of what it took to be a successful trader, again, after I told you chasing that holy grail for some time, I wanted to give back what I learned, and I started trading fibs, tweeting out all my setups, sharing that information with the trading public, and sharing my charts with others. And after a lot of trial and error, and I took a bit from each presentation that I went along the way. I combined it into my own method and include the ideas of fellow trading room members as well. And so today I come to you with those lessons also today and the next 3 days from the school of, that's right, hard knocks of the market. My trading foundation, which was based originally in Fibonacci patterns, and I still bring up a Fibonacci level here and there, began to encompass other patterns, but looking to keep it simple, to find trades that had a higher probability setup and a reduced risk through a combination of moving averages. And so nothing new invented here, simply just a greater potential of identifying a trend play in the market. All right, so the live challenge, which we already brought up here, but let me go ahead and scroll that down. So I'm going to be switching back and forth. Again, if I stray too much here, which I can, and I told Jim I promised to stick to the agenda that I've created, also to get him out of here on time. But I also want to leave an opportunity for open questions. That's important for me every day because I know you guys have them. And so along the way, if something comes up, remember to jot that down, and hopefully you'll have time. And if not, you can email me, david@tradingfibs.com, and I'll be able to answer that hopefully in the next day, 2, or a week. Anyway, so the live trading challenge, again, a lot of great information. I can't help but share with you here to if you want some more, if this isn't enough and you want the more nuts and bolts of the challenge, feel free to come over here to the intensive camp, which is next week, June 5th through June 8th. Sign up with Jim. And then obviously we know the cash prizes is what it's about. It's about getting into this challenge and hopefully winning. That's the idea. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom here, obviously here's my topics that we'll be covering. And then all the way at the bottom, here are the past results. Now, if you are here today and you're coming in after 5 days of trading making $6,000, then here's a great opportunity for you to shine on and see if you can grab that first spot. Obviously, each simulation that they've had has had a greater or lesser amount for the first place. So you can see here as you scroll down everywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 to $6,000. So the question is, how can you do that? How can you win this challenge? Is there an edge? And then how can we make that transformation from being a simulated trader to a live trader as well? All right, and so that's one of the goals here in the next 3 days. Also, we'll spend some time here taking a look at this today, including the rules, which are on this page. Note the maximum daily loss limit and the variety of eligible markets that one can trade in this. So that's something you want to perhaps cut and paste and stick right there in front of your monitor so you're absolutely clear as to what those levels will be and as far as what markets you can trade in. All right. So that covers the live trading challenge as far as the specs are concerned. I want to draw your attention to a book written called The Day Trading Secrets. It's actually a free book that's out there. You can just type it in, Day Trading Secrets by Harvey Walsh. It's on a Google Drive. And this was something I found maybe 6 months ago, almost a year ago perhaps, and he calls them the 7 deadly sins. And again, I'm not here to create a webinar out of these 7 deadly sins, but it's so simple to read. And so if you ingrain this as the first steps in your psychology of trading, I think these 7 steps can guide any trader from swaying too much off course and getting them on a straight line to being a successful trader. And so the 2 that we're going to focus on here today, and we'll cover a couple of these in the next couple of days, is one is not having a trading plan. Not having a trading plan. Well, what does that mean, not having a trading plan? Here we go. Here's his book, Day Trading Secrets, again in Google Drive. Not having a day trading plan is simply a document that is broken up into exactly what steps it will take for you to enter a trade, the markets you're going to trade, the times you're going to trade, when you're going to enter, when you're going to get out, what's going to happen. For instance, if the electricity is going down, you need to have a backup plan for that. It's step-by-step analysis for creating a document that I highly encourage not only all traders to have, but something that you should absolutely be able to read each morning before you start trading. And so those resources for day trading plans, again, one of those 7 deadly sins by Walsh that said you must have a day trading plan. Jeff Quinto happens to be that one individual that I reached out. I just typed in on the internet day trading plans, I don't know, about 4 or 5 years ago, and up came through the CME group his theory of futures trading. And again, he's got a wonderful video that you can watch. It's about 18 minutes long on building your trading plan, and also a document that actually goes through what initial things that you should have written down in that plan. Now, is that the only source that's out there for creating a dating plan? Absolutely not. Go to Amazon.com, type in trading plans, and there you go. Off the top, you got 3, 4 books that you can already just right off the top be able to access and hopefully supplement that search for creating that trading plan for you. All right, so this is the trading plan that I found off of Jeff Quinto, the trading plan template. You can see here filled out and read each day. Everything from the contracts I trade, the hours I trade, pre-market routine. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to mostly focus on the trading plan template and cover the first initial steps to this and the things that I have or the things that I would recommend. And then over the next couple days, we'll cover many of these other topics as well. And so there we are, webinar session number 1. We're going to cover the holy grail of trading, the contracts, and here you can see the list of the topics we'll be covering all the way up to day trading resources. All right, so I want to talk about trading success first of all, because when it comes to the psychology of trading, again, I'm no expert. I didn't write the psychology of trading, but I really believe there's an underlying tone to what it means to grasp and get a hold of your psyche when it comes and hopefully remove the emotion. There's always going to be emotion in trading. It deals with money. And so you're going to take your losses, you're going to take your wins, and hey, you got to roll with it. For every win, you roll on, and for every loss, you just got to roll on to the next win, hopefully. And so I created in my trading manual, I created you can get this on the 1 page, but I really believe with the first thing when it comes to trading success, which is your trading psychology, is that right here, right out of one of my favorite books, Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, is that the average man doesn't really wish to be told, again, politically correct, the average person doesn't really want to be told whether we're in an uptrend or a bull trend, uptrend or downtrend. They simply want to be told what? They simply want to be told what to do, when to buy. They want the red light, they want the green light, and they don't want to think for themselves. And so the first part of trading psychology for me is that even if you're in a trading room or you're on your own or you see a stock tip, right? Or you see a tweet come over and says somebody's in long, somebody's in short. The best thing to do is only make the decisions that are off your charts and your charts alone. Even if there's a mentor like myself, or even if you're listening to somebody that has, great success, in the end, you got to look at your own charts and you got to make your own decisions when it comes to initiating a trade. And so as I went through these, again, removing emotion from your trading, this really is, I say this easily, but it is a tough thing. I'm not saying it's easy to remove emotion, but that really to me is step 1. So removing emotions to me is having a strategy that is technical, and that's what intraday trading is. It's a technical setup. And so if you can absolutely stick to a trading plan that absolutely clarifies what it is that gets you into a trade and what gets you out of a trade, when you see your setup, you hit that button and that's your trade. And when you see that exit point, because why? Because it's written out in your trading plan, that's when you exit. That's your emotion. Now, is every trade going to go your way? Absolutely not. So you have an exit strategy on a losing trade, and you have to have that written down. What does it mean to be in a losing trade? And so removing emotion is step 1. And as you can see here, I'm not going to read every single one, but as you see, as I scroll through here, right there at the end, everything looks perfect. The setup is perfect. You enter the trade, it goes the other direction. Yeah, I got a great, this was passed around several, I don't know, I found this sometime back. It's called Just Another Trading Day. You can go ahead and click this if you've seen it. And so here it is. It's an example. It's 6:59 a.m. There's the market. It's going to open. Your chair, you're calm, confused. And there's the setup, and then you have 4 choices. Get long, wait for the retest, fade the breakout. And again, I'm just going to choose one here, and you decide, hey, the market's looking up, it's going up, and what do? You get long at the market. Oh, hang on, I got to refresh this. Hang on. All right, so there we go. So there it is. You get long at the market, and what does it do? That's right. You buy and immediately get slipped 5 points. Now what do? Do you take the loss quickly, or do you enter a stop on the other side of the range? Well, let's go ahead and click. You enter stop on the other side of the range, and there it goes. What does it do? It keeps going over. Game over. Sometimes the market is just that way. It just doesn't go in your direction. All right, so besides everything looks great and the setup is perfect, I got a whole nother list here. Trade your setups, not the money. And as you scroll through here, again, keeping it simple. That's what I'm going to try and show you here in the next well, I'm not going to try. I'm going to show you what I look for, and hopefully maybe you'll take that and adapt it to your own liking. But always plan your trade and trade your plan. And it doesn't matter if you're a counter trader or trend trader. Again, I am a trend trader. I'm not encouraging anybody that they have to be one. There's always ticks to be made on the counter trend, but you have to have a plan. You have to trade it. I believe that the run is usually longer in the trend, and I'll show you how some of that will look, especially in tomorrow's webinar, but there will always be another trade. You have to be patient. A lot of traders who come to the market, they are not patient. They're not. They have this dream that they wake up in the morning and they're going to take their coffee or whatever their beverage of choice is, and they're going to sit down the first 5 minutes, they're going to be done. And there are traders like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I've sat all day to the last 45 minutes and waited for that setup, and it happens. So as you can see here from the list, don't chase trades, don't add to losing trades. But right here, I keep repeating, you wrote a trading plan just this once. You might try something different. I didn't come up with this stuff, but you break the rules, that's when you typically fail. And so again, just a compilation of some of the things that I've gained, and a lot of times it takes traders almost up to a year. You know, we say 10,000 hours to learn a new trade or learn a new skill. And it's true. I believe that if you're starting out trading, it takes some time. And a simulated challenge is the best way to get started. But if you're going to get into the simulated challenge and really like it and something that that's going to work for you, you have to take those mini steps to get you to that live trading in the end. All right, so there it is. That's my trading success, and I'll leave it at that, and we're going to move on. So what is the holy grail of trading? What is that holy grail? And I've done this in other webinars, and I still believe it, and it's 2 words, and I know I can't see the responses here, but I'm just going to go right off and tell you that it's 2 words. It's not a study out there. It's simply, that's right, it's simply patience and discipline. And again, there are a lot of great traders that are in and out all day, and they make a lot of great trades and make a lot of great money, but there are a lot of traders on the other side. And so patience and discipline is simply the holy grail. There are thousands of great studies. I'm going to show you some of those great studies right here in a moment. And let's go back to what it looks like when it comes to the holy grail. And by the way, I want to give a shout out here to one of my favorites when it comes to trading psychology. If you haven't followed this guy, Steve Burns on Twitter, @SJosephBurns. @SJosephBurns. Great trading psychology. I know he has a trading strategy that comes along with moving averages. If you're seeking a trading strategy, you're more than welcome to check this guy out. But a lot of times, especially at the end of the day, he loves trading, sending out tweet messages that just speaks to the psychology of trading. I think you guys will learn a lot or it's nice to see that all the time. All right, so what am I getting at as far as when it comes to holy grail of trading? Well, I want to show you 2 places where you can find the amazing list of studies that are located on Sierra charts. And before I get to that, I know I got a lot of tabs up here. I've already opened them up for today. But again, Amazon is another place. I showed you the list back here for trading plans that you can go ahead and do a search. But when it comes to trading psychology, you also can run down a list here. One of my favorite new books right here, Trading for a Living by Alexander Elder. That's a great read. And Train Mindfully as well by Gary Dayton. I believe that one that wasn't, that just came out. One of these just came out. But either way, lots of great stuff when it comes to day trading. You don't have to go out and buy a book. You can probably take one out of your local library. But again, Nothing wrong with reading a good trading psychology book. So when I talk about this holy grail of trading, this patience and discipline, one of the sources for the Sierra charts, again, we're using the Infinity AT platform, which is a merge of those Sierra chart platform, is that just on this page, and again, you can just type in Sierra charts. Again, a lot of great information on Sierra charts when it comes to what studies are available, but you just start scrolling down here, and I'll show you where you can find these, but you just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Lots of great things out there on Sierra charts. And sometimes, I think I've once or twice in my time with Sierra charts, I just sat there and I had a chart with candlesticks and I just kept adding a study to just see what they all did. And as you can see, you just roll and roll and roll. Now you can see where the 10,000 hours comes from. But the truth is that you don't have to have all these. You have to find something that's going to work for you. And so here you can see, and I believe I'm going to actually cover that. Well, let's just go right there. Let's just go to the chart book right now and show you where that is. So here's the CR charts platform. Again, if some of you are already familiar with CR charts, you know exactly what I'm looking at. And so if I go into, and I like clicking right click, there are a variety of ways of getting into the studies, but finding the studies here on the left-hand side, here you have all the studies listed that we just saw online at Sierra Charts. But with the nice thing online with Sierra Charts on the help is that you can, once you click on one of those studies, it tells you exactly what you're looking at. And so let me pull that up again here. So for instance, let's say you're interested in the ADX line, great study. So you click on ADX and up comes the information of what you're, perhaps a description of the study, the average true, average directional movement index here that includes the true range. Sometimes some of these studies includes a little bit more information. But again, if you're looking to add that study, this is one of several places that you will be able to add it. This is the basic core chart studies that are included with the Infinity platform. And I encourage you, especially for the new traders, that if you're looking for something to add to your trading platform, this is where you would start, and you just pretty much trial and error. Maybe you saw a video. Maybe you're going to see something here today, and you might find it there. Now, there are two other places that you would find those, and one of them is in adding custom studies. And if you click on the adding custom studies, there's a variety of lists here. Again, some of yours might look a little different if you added a DLL. One of them is AT custom studies. And if you scroll down, again, a lot more. What did I say? There's thousands of strategies out there, but there's only one holy grail. That's right. It's patience and discipline to look through all these studies. You don't have to have all these on there. All right, so there's AT custom studies, and the other one is the user contributed studies. You can see here also the list is quite extensive when it comes to the variety of different things that you can use on the Sierra Charts platform, which, if I may add, also includes the fact that if you open up your chart book by simply going to File and opening up Chart Book, already included with your Sierra Charts platform are some templates that eventually I will actually add, which is a very gratuitous to Infinity Charts, a pretty basic strategy of the T3 strategy that I use. But again, you can already see some strategies that are already listed here, like the Ichimoku cloud. So if you were just click on that, an entire chart book would open and the entire study would already be there, and you could obviously play around with it. You could try it out. All right, so without ad nauseum, that's pretty much where you're going to find a lot of your studies. Again, you can use that resource online with Sierra Charts. If you are confused, you don't know information, you have nowhere to turn, that would be a great online resource for you. Okay, patience and discipline. All right, so let's drive. So what have we covered so far? So number one, we've covered the trading plan, because this is something that hopefully, if you don't have, I can't help but reiterate, the next 3 days, maybe you'll find a little bit piece of information. Maybe you tell me, yeah, I don't need it. The whole trading plan is in my head. But I'm speaking especially to the new trader or someone who's struggling with trading. I know there are traders that will back me up that say, once I got it written down, I'm still struggling a little bit, but it's a little bit more clear. So each of these steps, and again, if I go back here, all right, let's just go back for a second. That's the template right there that you see. All right, if you can answer each of these questions in a 2-3 page document that I showed you, right, the reference from Jeff Quinto, watch that video, look at his template. He's got a great example there, all right, and start to fill this in. This is something you could start doing tonight. All right, if you're participating in the simulation for the first time, start filling these questions out or the answers to these questions. You will be so far ahead of the variety of different traders out there, especially the struggling ones. All right, so let's move forward. Again, my goal is to cover, I don't want to cover the whole thing today. We're just going to cover a small amount. We're almost halfway done here. And then, well, obviously, I'll open up the questions if there are any. But again, I want to give you the first pieces to starting out the trading plan. So the first thing I want to cover here is the contracts you're going to trade. Again, this is on the live trading challenge page. And we'll get into, in trade management, we'll talk more about the daily loss limit and the maximum total loss. Again, even if you're simulating challenge, I don't want you to hit those losses. I think 750 is a lot for a day, so I'm actually going to tell you what number I would recommend to keep you in the challenge for 5 days and hopefully successful. But I want you to look at the eligible markets. And that's where I'm going to start right here. The eligible markets, we'll talk about the rest of the stuff in the next 2 days. But right now, the eligible markets that you could trade in this simulation. And there they are. What I did was I broke them down by contract specs. Now, there's a huge lure of new traders to trade the market, and that one market that they love to trade because that's where the volume is. It's right there, $12.50 a contract. Whoa, that's big money. The ES, that's right. What do you have to do to win this challenge? Well, looking at the numbers, it looks like you got to get above $4,000 to $6,000 to place in that top 5. Wow, look at that, $12.50 a contract. Man, that's what, maybe I'll trade the bonds. Maybe I'll trade $31.25 a contract. That's it. That's the winner. Now, silver's not on here at one point. That would have just, but what comes with winning is the fact that if the trade doesn't go in your direction, remember what we said in that successive trading list? That's right. What happens when the trade goes the other way? And so now you're not down 31, you're not up $300. That's right. You're down $600. And what did we just say? Let's go back here for a moment. Let's go back. Whoop. That's right. What's your maximum daily loss? 750. If you do the calculation, it's not going to take you that long to lose on a losing trade on ZV, the bonds, right? So what do? Where do you start out? What's my recommendation? Well, I can tell you as a live trader, all right, I've tried them all. Well, I didn't try bonds, but I did try the ES, all right? I have tried the crude. I have tried the gold, but where I find myself most comfortable is actually trading the $5 contracts or the euros, the 6E, 625. Can you make $6,000 in simulation challenge? Can you make $100 a day? Can you make 20 ticks in a day? And a lot of times, if there's terminology you're not getting here today, again, Jim's going to cover that in his webinar. Also, that's why I wanted to follow him, but that's all right. When we talk about ticks, we're talking about every time that contract moves, you're going to make $5. You're going to make $6.25. You're going to make $12.50. Well, the ES doesn't necessarily run as far as the NQ does on a daily basis. There's maybe a different daily range, all right? NQ can easily move 20, 30 ticks, or 40 ticks, or 60 ticks, where the ES will only move maybe half that distance, but you could see that if they were to move in a ratio of each other, the ES would move just as much as the NQ. Now, in the simulation challenge or trading live, which I'll talk about in a little bit, is I highly encourage not to trade everything, all right? Again, what do you see here on the list? You see all these other markets. Now, could you create a screen share on your template, on your chart book that allows you to look at all of these markets? Yeah, you can, especially I have 4 monitors sitting here. I could place all over, but hey, I'm not a multitasker, and for me, I wouldn't be able to watch everything. So I would recommend when you talk about the contracts that you're going to trade is that you start out with 1 or 2 of these, all right? And I'm not going to tell you which one. It's up to you which one you want to start to connect with in a way that says, yeah, I feel good. I like this. I like this market. Man, that bond market just doesn't move as much as I thought it would move, and so I'm going to try something else. That's what the simulation challenge is for too. All right. So that's the contract spec breakdown. Again, It's up to you which one you want to trade on. I don't want you to get the idea that all of a sudden because you're going to trade the 31.25, that means you're going to win. I want you to get the sense that maybe somewhere in the mid-range, maybe the $10. But remember, crude can easily move back before it goes in a trend, and I'm going to show you what trend looks like. When crude can get moving, it can actually dip $200-300 sometimes before it actually starts moving. Now you're already what? You're already halfway down perhaps your maximum daily loss. All right? So when we tie in that contract size with a strategy, hopefully we're going to eliminate some of those losses, keep those losses small so that you can let your winners run. And again, with 3 lots, and that's another thing I wanted to bring up, is that 3 lots. Imagine having 3 lots on the ZN, 1563, right? All right, so now you're trading with almost $50 there, right? $45, and all of a sudden it goes the way you want it to go, awesome. But when it goes the other way, that's a whole nother story, right? All right, so we're going to keep an eye that obviously you'll be able to catch us in the webinar. If you want to take a screenshot of this so you know the breakdown, if this is new to you, there you go. Now, is there a place online that you can find some resources for this? Absolutely. All you have to do, you can go to tradingcharts.com for the futures. And again, if this is just beyond the simulation, you're interested in trading down the road, this is one website where you can get information. And again, it's a nice summary. It's futures.tradingcharts.com/specs. futures.tradingcharts.com/specs. And if you always need some information, you can go directly to the CME group, all right? The CME group, and you could type in, you could look up any contract that you're interested in, all right? So I have the E-mini I pulled up here, all right? You can get all the information in the E-mini. When you go over to the contract specs, all right, and you scroll down, you obviously can get the time in which I was going to talk about here in a moment, but you can get the contract unit as well on. Let me get it. No, hang on. I want to go to contract specs. I believe it was, there it is, right there, 1250. Okay. So you can get the information as well at the CME group, depending on obviously the future you're trading. Not all futures are listed on the CME. All right. Now, covering some information, contract specs. So you're going to decide what contract's going to work for you. Again, I would not encourage having everything up. Maybe you want to trade 2 or 3 a day. You could try that at first, see if that works for you, okay? Volume will change differently on some of these contracts also during regular trading hours and the Globex as well. All right, next topic on the trading plan is the hours I'm going to trade. Actually, there is one other thing I want to do. Let me go ahead and pull up the chart book. I got my cheat sheet here so I don't forget anything that I wanted to cover. Okay, now, if you'll notice here, time-saving space here, I have a quote board that's listed on the right-hand side. And you'll notice that I have 1, 2, 3, about 6 or I have 7 symbols here that I watch routinely every day on a template right here that you can see. Now, that's one way of, by the way, of laying out all the charts that you want to see. That's the beauty of Infinity Futures, that you can take these charts, you can open them up as large as you want, and you can actually detach these charts by simply right-clicking, or down at the bottom, you can simply hit Detach Chart and actually move it to another monitor. That's one of the features here of Infinity, which is a variety of different platforms, but I like the way Sierra does it. It makes it allow me to move my things around my monitor a lot easier. So let's say I'm on my chart book and I want to create a new quote board. I simply go over to the File button in the upper left-hand corner, and I simply click New Quote Board. All right, and so my new quote board is up above me, and here it is. I'm dragging it down, and here's where we're going to start filling in the symbols of the markets I want to view. Now, let's say you only have one space. You have a laptop, or you have only one monitor, and you want to scroll through these. This is a great way, is that once you got all the markets that you want to watch, all right, again, maybe it's those ones that we saw listed on the contract specs. You want to watch them all at first, or watch 3 or 4. You would list them here, all right, and you could go ahead, whatever. Let's go over here to set fields. This is where you would customize what it is that you were looking at. I don't need all this. I like to look at a couple of things. But the key to this quote board, is that you want to link it to the quote board. First of all, you always want it visible. You always want it visible across your chart books, and then you could chart link it. What does it mean to chart link? Well, you want to give the chart a number, all right? So I can click Set Chart Link, and let's say I do L1. Well, what is that L1? Well, if I go into, let me go ahead and get rid of this board. Nope, I don't want to say that. All right, let's go into Chart Settings, and under Advanced Settings number 2, all right, I'm going to do a link number, and the link number is going to be 1. All right, I'm going to hit OK. So now everything in this chart book, every time I go to my quote board and I click on the symbol, because the two are linked, now I can move through the charts a lot easier. And that's the use of the quote board. And so that's how you do that. Again, if you missed that, go ahead and hit the replay and put that all together, and that might save you a little bit of space, especially if you don't have it on your monitor. Okay, where's another place we can find symbols that we want to trade, by the way? If you go into your chart settings, all right, and you want to find a symbol, you can simply hit Find. This is one place for finding them. And again, here's where you would find those symbols that the contract spec, or at least the contracts that you could trade here in the simulation challenge. All right, again, for some of you, this might be a little basic today, especially if you're already a trader with Infinity Futures. Maybe there's a good review. Maybe you're finding something new. But again, to the new trader, as somebody who's interested, there is a learning curve to anything. It takes a little time, but it's real easy. And again, I'm going to show you another great resource here at the end where you can find more information. All right, so that is where you find your symbols. Now, what hours are you going to trade? Next question on my trading plan that I'm going to say is, I'm going to trade regular trading hours. Am I going to trade Globex trading hours? Where is the volume? Now, can you be a successful trader at night? Yes, you can. It depends to me on what market you want to trade. And so there is what I didn't create this, but there is a sequence to what I believe the day holds in as far as where is their market momentum. And again, we say that every day is not indicative. Yesterday's performance is not indicative of today's trend. We know that. But there are certain times of day, and I believe that I like to watch the market, especially in the first 2.5 hours of the regular trading hours, which is 9:30 Eastern Standard Time to 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with you guys coming up in the simulation, you'll know that the market, we're entering summer hours, starts to a little bit die down in the afternoon. And so if I were to give you an optimum time to this simulation, and maybe you'll carry it forward, is that if you, especially the guys on the East Coast, have it better than us on the West Coast, is that if you start to trade, or if you start to watch the markets, 1-2 hours of pre-market, that'll give you a little bit of that London session. London session opens up 3 o'clock. Where do I get this information, by the way? I want to show you here online, is if you go to market24hourclock.com, market24hclock.com, you can see that nothing's open right now, which if we look at the clock, we got about another 14 minutes. All of a sudden, we'll see the Asian markets open. And when these are highlighted in the orange, like you just saw on my PowerPoint here, there it is, those markets are open. So that is a great way to start to understand what's open and what's closed. For the life of me, I could never figure that out in the beginning until I had a nice resource. So there it is. So Sunday's market opens. Now your simulation challenge will start, I believe, on a Wednesday and go into the next week. All right, so Sunday's market opens, right? Globex, we call that. And so it will open and then trade into the Sunday night session, and then you have the midnight open, and then eventually the London session will open. That's where, to me, I believe the majority of good volume starts on some of our indices. Now, it's very slow. It's like watching paint dry or grass grow, and if you guys like doing that, then feel free to get up. If you really want to win this challenge, maybe that's when you have to get up. But I'd hate for you to lose it all in the overnight session when there be some good movement perhaps in the day session. All right, so that's your Sunday open. So let me break this down quickly for you to show you where I like to watch and what times of the day I like to watch. So first of all, RTH regular trading hours, all right, beyond the Globex. First 30 minutes, A lot of volatility sometimes, but that again can be the first time that there's initiation of trend. Today was a great example of the market running away in trend on the NQ, which I'll actually pull up a chart here today of the NQ that started to move right there in the first 30 minutes. Now, I'm not saying don't trade in the first 30 minutes. What I'm saying is just watch. Be watchful eye. Let markets are starting to move first 30 minutes. We have economic data usually in the first 30 minutes if it hasn't come out pre-market already. And typically at that top of the hour, 10 o'clock, that's when most of the economic data has come out, except for something like crude, which crude will usually have its numbers out on Wednesday at 10:30. All right, so first 30 minutes, again, if the setup is there, I always come back to that, guys. If the setup is there, that's when you want to take your trade. I don't care if it's in the first 30 minutes, if it's in the PM session, if your setup is there, that's what you stick to, if that's your trading plan, if you want to trade, All right, so first 30 minutes, be watchful. Let markets settle a little bit. There's some people who don't even trade the first hour. They wait until things really settle. All right, so be watchful of that. When is momentum? They tend to move in these brackets in the market. First 30 minutes, first hour, we call that sometimes the 10:30 reversal. It doesn't mean every day that market's going to turn the other way. Tends to be, it's a term that was termed long ago, but still somehow sticks with the market, that markets tend to possibly turn at that hour or continue in trend for that part, especially if it's stalled already. Now, as markets, European close, that's something I like to watch. Markets tend to move 45 minutes. So I'm looking at 10:45 Eastern Standard Time to 11:30. I'm watching that time clock. It tends, if things started to quiet down in the trend, things start to pick up, especially 15 minutes before the European close, which is 11:30. Now what? We have the next 30 minutes moving towards the PM, the mid-session. Once we get to 12, if I found my trend in that, sometimes I'm just ready to call it a day. Now, if you're already in a trend, doesn't mean you have to close it out. It just means it gets tougher in the PM session, looking especially for initiating trends. Does it happen? Yes. Is it a challenge? Absolutely. Today was a great example. PM session, that's all we did. We just chopped the afternoon away. That's it. Oop, wrong picture. Let me get the full, there we go. There was our PM session. NQ trends in the morning, PM session across. That was it. That was it for the day. All right, especially with summertime coming up too. Keep that in mind. Now, throughout the day, energies close, crude closes, right? Those have different session times. It doesn't mean they don't trade all the way up until 5 o'clock, but that's usually, sometimes their volume decreases. 12 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock my time, I'm thinking 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, bond market closes, okay? 2:30, crude closes. So those are things that if you're going to trade those markets, you should know those things. It doesn't mean it completely shuts down. It just means that volume tends to drop a little bit at that time. And then obviously the last 45 minutes of the day, you want to keep an eye on. After that bond market close, markets start to, I call them eBay traders in the house, start to move in the last usually 45 minutes to 30 minutes up until obviously the close. There have been days where I've tended to initiate a trade in that last 10 minutes because you've been waiting all day and all of a sudden you just get this incredible breakout. And if you check out my Twitter feed, you'll see some of those moves, but you got to watch. So there it is. That's the short version, or if you've been listening the whole time, it's the long version. But again, I want you to keep these in mind. It gives you a structure to the day to think about where is that volume going to usually occur. And a lot of times it tends in right here from the first 30 minutes to that PM session. And a lot of times before crude closes, sometimes the market will run up as well. Okay, we're getting to the end here. All right, so what do I do after the market? Again, something you guys should write in your trading plan. What are you going to do? Okay, you're going to save your charts? Are you going to spend some time looking into charts? I love the replay the charts feature. Let me show you that, where you can find that. Absolutely love it. So what does it mean? It means that if you're working on a strategy and you want to test things out, you simply, one of the features is you fill the space. That means if I lock fill the space wherever the marker is, do you notice what happens to the charts? All right, it's locked right in that spot right there. And if I take it over here and I want to center it, lock fill space, I simply move it with the hand to the right, and all of a sudden now I have the chart centered and exactly where I want to start replaying. If I go up to the chart and I hit replay chart over here, it offers me some opportunities to replay the day. And again, I don't look for the part where I say, oh, I know where it's going to trend, so I'm going to play that part. Have somebody in your house move it back for you. Or just simply close your eyes, move it back, and then if you want to hit just this chart, or let's say you have a couple charts in the chart book, and you hit all charts in the chart book, you can select that feature. And again, with this newest update, we have more features, which is really nice, and you go ahead and you play out the replay. So this is a really nice feature that you can do with the Sierra charts, and I highly encourage it, especially if you're working on a tragedy. Hopefully not a tragedy, but a strategy for yourselves. Okay, next, notes on the chart. Absolutely, where you took entries on the chart. Daily pick of the chart. I just showed you guys a daily pick of my chart. Every day I put one in, I blog about it. I actually do a video review. That's my journal. I talk about it for 20 minutes each day. But for you guys, you know, it's about getting a chart out. It's about writing stuff. This is the stuff that I usually would write out and send out online. But it's going to the charts. It's writing your notes out, all right? And being able to journal everything at the end of the day. All right, now I can't highly encourage that enough, that that's something you should do. All right, so again, tweak it. Don't change it. Remember what Wall said about the 7 sins. I bolded that in the beginning, is don't switch strategies. Start in the beginning, I get it. You're going to switch strategies. You're going to try different things out. But for those of you who are more seasoned traders who've been here for a while, I encourage you guys, sit down, tweak it a little bit if it's not working, but don't completely change it. That's one of the, and where does that come from? It comes from, oh, dang, I got a loss. I got to find a new strategy. No, it's not about that. Don't go and just switch your strategies. Once your strategy is set, it might just take a little tweak of a little setting, like maybe you need to change the moving average. Maybe you don't want a 5. Maybe you want a 7 period moving average, okay? All right, again, can't help but reiterate, some people tell you to write it, some people tell you to chart it. I like writing on the charts. It makes more sense to me. And actually, this is one of my favorite ways, is that if you had setups, this is one of the nice features, I'm going to show you where you can do this, is that if you took the trade, all right, if you took the trade on the chart, it's right in there why you took the trade. All right, and that feature, by the way, is in the trade settings, where right up here, you can click on Show Order Fills. You just click on Show Order Fills, and all the trades will show up from the session on your chart. Okay, I promised Jim I'd get him out of here, so I'm just about done here. So last thing, day trading resources you guys should have. There's a lot of information. In a world of technology, in a world of information, sometimes there's too much. Lots of info to choose from. Number one, Infinity Futures, guys. YouTube channel is something you should be in touch with. Let me go ahead and pull all these up on my Google. Here we go. Infinity Futures YouTube. If you guys aren't sure how to try something, how does that study work? How do you do that moving average? They have great amounts of videos in their library to watch. All right, so check out their YouTube channel. Next, I love watching, or I like reading. I like an introduction to the day. I don't want to write anything, especially to blog out, but I love following certain people. Kenny Polcari is one guy that I like to follow and get his macro view on the market. Inbox letter with a recipe in the morning to go. So great information on just where is the market standing on the bigger picture. All right. Mr. Top Step, lots of years in the market, lots of great information, puts out a morning newsletter, gives you an idea where we were in the Globex. Check out his AM newsletter right into your, he actually delivers in the inbox, but you can follow him on Twitter also, you'll find it. Shadow Trader, lots of great market internal stuff. Market Profile, gives you an analysis each morning based on yesterday's market profile. And again, I'm not going to teach you market profile, but if you just know the basics of overnight inventory, it might give you a sense of where market stands going into the next day. And also, economic calendar. It's something you should be aware of. You guys, you can already move to, you click on June, and you go to the simulation challenge, you go to the week. We're going to already have a contract rollover. That's something you want to be aware of. Volume in the contracts are switching. What is starting on those 2 days, all right? I believe the simulation ends on the 14th or the 15th. We're going to have an FOMC meeting announcement. So that's something that the market might slow down before that announcement at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and then the market's going to get crazy. That can happen, but you need to be aware of economic events as well. And then last shout out to another resource that I love, Chat with Traders. This I can't help but reiterate for the newbies and for people who've been seasoned traders. Great interviews that are conducted across the board with this channel as well. Reminiscence of the Stock Operator, great book. Like I said, trading psychology books, Trading in the Zone, Pitbull, Jack Swagger stuff, great stuff. So there again, Jason Kelly's another shout out, another favorite of mine when it comes to the macro view of the market. I can't help but also when it comes to fundamentals, you're looking for someone who does the great research. IBD Newspaper is another great example, local meetups, and as well as the Sierra Charts help sites. All right. I made it. So webinar session 1, recap. We talked about the holy grail of trading, right? Patience and discipline. We started with the trading plan today because I think that's a core. I think that's a core to your trading success. I know there were people that backed me up on this. I know there were people that said, I don't need one. But if you're getting into this for the first time, why not start on the right foot? If you're struggling, start to answer these questions. I gave you some great resources today. Start there. What are the contracts that you're going to trade in this simulation? Are you going to trade them all? Are you going to jump to the ES because everybody trades the ES? I can tell you that today the NQ's been out of control for since November it's been running. I mean, not that the other markets haven't, but the NQ's just been running and almost leading this market up. Say, hey guys, Amazon hit 1,000 today. So is it going to be the $5 and try to get a lot of ticks out of it, or are you going to jump into something else? What are the hours you're going to trade? You're going to be a Globex trader? Do you think that to win the simulation, or, hey, as a live trader, you need to trade Globex? That's a decision you have to make. I'm making the decision probably for the summer to wake up a little bit earlier on the West Coast and 2 hours of London session, pre-market, and the first 2.5 hours, and pretty much be done for the day. But if you want to stick around, you're in a simulation challenge, you want to try it, go for it. Just don't hit that stop loss. Pre-market routine. Read your trading plan. Check out some of those newsletters that I told you about. Give yourself an insight. Maybe you guys, you probably all have a favorite. Nothing wrong with that. But have a pre-market, have an aftermarket right on the charts. Take a picture. Let me pull that up, and I'm done here. You see the chart? Where do you take a picture? Well, you could take a screenshot, but if you go up here, you go up to Edit and hit Copy to Chart BMP, blank, right there. Now, I've taken a picture of my chart, all right? How do I write on the chart? Simply go to Tools, hit Type Text, click on the chart, and just start typing away. You can draw arrows, you can draw lines. Great, great features, all right? So, session 2, I hope you guys are going to come tomorrow. We're going to talk about some of those trend studies. I'm going to show them to you. I'm going to talk about my gold standard setup. I'm going to keep it simple, all right, executing the trade, and I'm giving you some additional technicals that I think will help you in understanding that sometimes the market is range bound, and when it pops out of that range, sometimes momentum will occur, and taking open questions at the end. So you be the judge. Do you guys want to be the trader that uses a platform that looks like this? Or do you want to use something that's simple strategy that might give you a trend and allow your runners to run, or your winners to run as well? Hey guys, if you want more information, check out Infinity Futures Live Trading Challenge. You can come to my website. You can email me, David@TradingFibs. I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions in an email, and we'll just leave it open. Jim, I hope I covered in right time. If he's there. Jim, you there? Well, we'll wait a moment. I can't see the questions, so just stick around for a moment. Let's see if anything comes up. Again, feel free to email me, guys, David@TradingFibs. And again, if we don't get through the open questions here, I'm sure we'll be able to. I'll be able to answer those for you. Again, we have 2 more days. If you go again to the website, Live Trading Challenge, I'm going to cover the trend trading tomorrow, like I mentioned, and then I'm going to talk about trade management on Thursday. Talking about, and I use that in quotes, no loss setup. You got to get a contract off. I'm going to show you how you could trade 2 lots and 3 lots as well. I'll show you how to trade 1 lot as well. But we'll cover these as well. And I hope I've given you all a little bit of insight, or hopefully to add something to your trading plan as well. Jim, you there? Knock, knock. I might have to call him on the phone to make sure he's there. Let's see. Hang on a second, guys. Hang on. Don't leave yet, guys. Hang on.
I was in the back there for a second. Dave, you still there?
All right, you there?
I am there. Sorry, I
was wondering where you went.
I stepped in the back for a couple of minutes, and then I come back, and there was like crickets going off.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jim. I know this is a great opportunity to get traders involved in futures, the simulation. I hope between you and I know there's going to be other trading coaches that are coming up along the way to, you know, have traders start from ground zero. And if people are struggling, at least maybe give them some tools that will, you know, fix some of those holes.
Absolutely. And hey, let's do this again tomorrow.
Hey, I'm up for 2 days.
I know.
Can we, I know you want to run. Can we take a question or two if there are any? And then I told them they can email me with questions as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Either way. But yeah, anybody has a live question for David or myself, just shoot it out there. We can see it in the question box right here, and we've got some time still. I don't know if you can see those, David, but GBS, could you show the 7 deadly sins again?
Sure. Yes, I will go back to that. That's a good one. I like his stuff. Let me go back. Yeah, and it's free. You can go online. It's yeah, there it is. So if you go online to Google, just type in 7 Deadly Sins, Google Drive. It's a free publication. Okay.
All right, excellent. We have another question from James, who's asking, will you offer any trading on the Ikimuchu cloud?
Yeah. No, I'm not, but I believe you guys did a webinar on that.
You know what, James, if you check out, I don't know off the top of my head, but if you go to our YouTube channel.
Right, I showed that.
Okay, yeah, so then there will be probably a video on that. I don't know why that video of me is still on. I'm going to fire whoever's in charge of our YouTube channel. Get me off the screen.
I think I'm just doing a, well, I know you could, you can go to the trading channel, and there's, here, actually, if we just do a search. All right, any other questions?
Yeah, hang on a sec. I was just trying to do the search myself. Somebody wants your chart book. Who is that?
There it is. Okay, that's Hubert. There it is. Hubert Centers, Infinity Futures.
Yeah, it looks like there's a couple of them up there. A little bit older, but they're up there.
And they can
we
pull
also
up.
work with the guy, just so you know, there's also a fella, Ray Bruchette, who does intuitive performance training with us every once in a while, and Ray is a cloud guy. So he's another guy that we can introduce you to. And I'll send you off an email with Ray's information as well.
Yeah, and then if you open up the chart book, you could just start with, you just open up a chart book with Ichimoku, and there it is. It starts nicely. So, and I believe there's a study for the Ichimoku as well.
Just so everybody knows, we're working toward getting David's chart books embedded into the Sierra chart.
Yeah.
When you download them.
I know it's somewhere, but I can't find it right now. Okay, next question.
All right, next question is from Cal. How do you take loss with one contract of VS? Is it 1 point or 2 points or more? Thanks.
A great question. Obviously, any responsible mentor is going to tell you it depends on your account. It depends on how much you're willing to lose. It depends on how much you set up your daily loss limit. To me on the ES, it's a little harder. It's 1250. So I will talk about stop loss management on Thursday, but right off the top, I would not recommend anything more than 2 points. I mean, I think that's big. Do I know people who will sit on an ES and they drop 5 points knowing that they think it's going up? Yeah, sure. But I would definitely not mentor to a new trader. Actually, I wouldn't mentor to anybody that. So.
Okay. Michelle asks, do you program the color bars that are at the bottom of your charts?
Yes, I can. I could change the color on the bars themselves. So I believe Michelle, right? She's talking about these bars here. Yes, I can color these in the study. So there's a setting to each study. Let me just, for instance, I'll go into, let's go in the NQ. If I go to the study, and then I can go into the settings and into the subgraphs, this is where I could start to change the color of the background. So whatever, color appeases you.
Yeah, and pretty much the one cool thing about Sierra Chart is just about any study, there's hundreds of them that you add. You can customize them in terms of time frames and durations and colors and all that stuff. So it's kind of cool that way.
So if anybody's been watching me, they've seen color changes over the months. They've seen I have audio alerts. I've colored the backgrounds. But in the end, one thing that Infinity does that a lot of other platforms have not been able to do is this nice overlay. This is not an Ichimoku cloud. This is just an overlay from another chart that we'll talk about tomorrow. But this overlay, I'm able to put on this time frame, even though this cloud has a different time frame. That is just absolutely phenomenal.
All right, so we have time for a couple more. Kale comes back at you with, is that ES 50 tick chart or higher tick chart?
I'm looking at an NQ right now. So the ES 50 tick would be a much higher. Okay. So, so yeah, I mean, there is a higher time frame chart. I do like watching higher time frames to give me the bigger picture. But on an intraday basis, I use a smaller time frame. I will talk about different time frames tomorrow, but I use a range chart called a Flex Renko. I'll talk about that in tomorrow's session.
Okay, I know I'm going to miss a few of these questions, but we're going to take one more from Sam. How many trades do you place during the day? What's the number of trades you would consider to be over trading?
Oh, wow. I think I've heard of tales of people doing 100 trades on crude a day, and would we call that over trading? He turned a profit. So I think over trading means that either one, you're paying more in commissions than you're taking in. That would be one. The goal is, for me, is to find a trend that you can ride as long as possible. And so therefore, if you can get in one 1 to 5 setups a day and be able, and again, it all comes down to your individual goal. So if you have a tick goal or if you have a money goal and you've hit that goal, just call it. If you did it in 1 trade or it took you 3 trades, but if it took you 10 trades to get there, but you still came out ahead, who am I to judge that it was over trading? Over trading, Jim, do you want to pop in on that? I mean, it's,
well, yeah. I mean, it's there's a lot of things people do wrong, and usually when I think of over trading, it's the folks that have success early in the morning and have make money and then decide to some people teach to do this, but I don't think so. And they go and they give it back in the afternoon.
right.
And so they basically snatch and defeat out of the jaws of victory. And I see that a lot. And I've been doing this a very long time. And sometimes it's hard just to walk away, right? You're on a roll, you're hot, you're making money, you're feeling good. You're doing a rain dance, you're high-fiving people. But a lot of times it's just time to go to Starbucks. Shut it down, go to Starbucks, and then take a look again to see if there's anything in your plan that is obvious that you want to try to tackle again. But I think the adrenaline and the physical glee that folks get when they've made money early in the day sometimes kind of overtakes the discipline you need to say, no, that's not a good second trade or third trade or fifth trade. So that's what I think of over trading. But like you, I mean, I've seen people make gazillion trades a day and do well, and I've seen people make gazillion trades a day and do really, really bad. So it's not really the number, but it's the process. You go through a process.
But it's a good question because we talk about it all the time, and so, yeah.
No, it is. It's a very good question, and that's just been my experience. So.
All right, so we got 2 more days. Anybody who did not get their question answered, please email me. I'll answer you, david@tradingfibs.com.
Fibs with the Z.
There you go.
All right, excellent. We'll kick this into gear again tomorrow at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, David's made himself accessible. Anybody can get a hold of me anytime they want. I'm here all the time, and I'd be happy to talk to you. In the meantime, remember, trading futures, options on futures involves substantial risk of loss, not suitable for all investors and traders. And David, thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate it. And I'm going to log us off. I am going to run and catch train in a couple minutes, so I will talk to you first thing in the morning.
Good thing. See you, Jim.
All right. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Bye, guys.